During nighttime, not only is everyone's vision impaired by half, but all heroes actually gain 30 movement speed, making it a perfect time frame for making plays and initiating smoke ganks. Don't worry if you're late to a smoke gank and weren't in range, because you can actually walk into the teammate who initiated the smoke to later retrieve it even after its initial cast. Trying to deliver an item via courier from the complete opposite side of the map can be risky and very time consuming, which is why it could sometimes be better to send your courier through the twin gates for a much safer and quicker route. All Dota 2 ranks actually resemble certain items within the game. You may have noticed the obvious ones, Divine and Immortal, representing both the Divine Rapier and Aegis of Immortality, but you may have looked over Herald, which is a Tango, Guardian, which is a Buckler, Crusader, which is Ring of Aquila, Archon, which is a Yule Scepter, Legend, which is BKB, and Ancient, which is a Manta style. Stuck in a game you're bound to lose regardless? Well, abandoning games no longer causes you to lose any MMR as long as you abandon before first blood and it's still before the 5-minute mark. The only punishment being a cooldown before you can find the next game, which is probably for the best to avoid that fucking asshole who's picking safe lane witch doctor like brother Jesus. When receiving items from your courier, the item that is placed on the furthest right side will gain the utmost priority. For example, if I have one free item slot available on my hero and I'm delivering an item I want to be using as soon as possible, I will drag that exact item I want to be using on the furthest right side of the courier's inventory. Both Radiant and Dire have special and unique spots for specific types of regen, both being available on the far edges of the map surrounding the jungle. Radiant offers the aura Well Wishes that provide heroes with 1.5 mana regen per second, whereas Dire offers the aura Mighty Minds that provides heroes with a 7 health regen per second. The amount of damage Tormentors deal is based off how many units are in that vicinity, but a very common misconception is that you can use illusions to help soften the blows, which is not true. Illusions will take increased damage, but the amount of damage the Tormentor will do is still the exact same amount as if those illusions weren't there. However, non-hero units are able to reduce the incoming damage, such as Lycan Wolves and Lone Druid's Bear. A lot of people look at the Flag Bear creep as a merely stronger creep that just gives extra gold upon last hitting, but it actually provides extra health regen that can be quite crucial during the early stages of the game. Killing the enemy Flag Bear creep as soon as possible whilst keeping yours alive for as long as you can could be the deciding factor of whether or not you win your lane. Some heroes can cast certain abilities involving stealth during the channeling of teleport. Heroes like Weaver, Bounty Hunter, and Clinks are all able to, as well as items like Shadowblade, Silver Edge, and Glimmercape. Stacking spell amplification is added by a flat rate, whereas cooldown reduction is added diminishingly. This means that if you were to have a 10% spell amplification talent along with both Kaya Sange and an Intellect Vambrace, everything would add up accordingly, equaling you to 32% spell amplification. However, cooldown reduction works a bit differently, since having both Octarine Core and Spell Prism doesn't actually give you 37% cooldown reduction, instead applying their effects separately, equaling to a little bit less. Spirit Breaker's bash ability states that it has a 70% chance to proc, but what some people don't know is that when Spirit Breaker is on the enemy team, the chance is boosted all the way up to fucking 100! Power runes can never repeat the same rune within a cycle, meaning that if a specific rune is spawned, it cannot spawn again until all other power runes have spawned as well, meaning that if you actually have a good memory, you can sort of use this to your advantage. Pulling aggro to keep lane equilibrium is a crucial part to laning in Dota. Simply right-click the enemy hero and walk back to pull creeps to make it easier and safer for you to last hit them. But what some people don't know is that you can also simply just right-click the enemy portraits on the top of your HUD to execute this mechanic. There is actually a hidden mechanic where the game detects if you're close to your rank up, so that matchmaking pairs you up with the most inbred animals like this fucking idiot who— Are you fucking kidding me? It's the same goddamn Woodstock!